Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the confusing world of corporate finance. And today we've got a real restructuring special from Origin Materials Incorporated. Get ready because this report shows a company making some pretty big and potentially painful changes to its operations in early 2026. We're diving into why they're doing it and what it might mean for their future. And hey, before we jump in, if you dig these straightforward breakdowns of company filings, hit that subscribe button. We also have a Discord community where we talk all things finance, linked right down below. Alright, let's talk about Origin Materials Incorporated. They've just filed a report detailing some significant moves they've made to shake up their business. It seems like they're facing some pressure to get their finances in better shape and to make sure they can actually start making money. So basically, on the 10th of February, their board gave the okay, and by the 11th, they were already making big changes. The main goal here is to get more cash flowing and to need less outside money to keep running. They want to reach a point where they're making more money than they're spending, which is pretty fundamental for any business that wants to survive and grow. This means they are cutting about $11 million from their yearly expenses. How are they doing this? Well, first they are reducing the number of employees. That is usually a tough pill to swallow. They're also stopping any new money going into something called their Furanix platform. Think of it like they're shutting down a project that wasn't giving them the results they wanted. On top of that, they're slowing down the work on new types of PET caps, the plastic lids for drinks. They were planning to do a lot of this in 2026, but now they're pushing some of that work to 2027, focusing only on the beverage types for now. They're also capping how many new machines they buy for making these caps, sticking to the 6 they've already got. It is all about tightening the belt and focusing on what they think will make them money sooner. Now, the big number, about 32% of their global workers are being let go. That is a significant chunk of their team. They aim to have this all done by the end of March 2026, but they have to follow any local laws about giving notice. This is a signal that the company might have been overstaffed or needed to pivot its strategy dramatically, and layoffs are a direct consequence of that. All these changes aren't free, of course. They expect to spend around $0.9 million on these layoffs, mostly for things like severance pay and benefits. This is an immediate cost associated with these job cuts. They believe most of this will be paid out by the end of the first quarter of 2026, but they also warn that the actual costs could be different because of different rules in different places where they operate. And there might even be more costs they haven't thought of yet. Now, the document has a section called Forward-Looking Statements. This is where companies try to tell you what they think will happen, but they also legally cover themselves by saying things could change. They're basically saying that everything they're predicting about these cost reductions, the timing of layoffs, and the impact of stopping certain investments is based on their current best guesses. Things like competition, customer demand, and needing more money are all big risks that could mess up their plans. They're also pointing to their previous financial reports for more details on these risks, which is a good reminder that predicting the future in business is always a tricky game. Then there is something called Regulation FD disclosure. In simple terms, this usually means they put out a press release to make sure everyone gets the same information at the same time, so no one has an unfair advantage. So, on the 12th of February, they officially announced all these restructuring plans in a press release. This press release is included with this filing, but it is noted as being furnished and not filed, which has some technical legal implications, but for us, it just means it is accompanying information. And finally, in the exhibits section, they've listed the press release from the 12th of February in something called Cover Page Interactive Data File. This basically means all the important information is available in a special format that computers can read easily, which is handy for analysts and regulators. Now, let's put on our Warren Buffett hats and look at the bigger picture here. Origin Materials is going through a significant and likely stressful period of adjustment. They're cutting deeply into their workforce and shelving certain development projects. This isn't usually a sign of booming success. It is a sign of a company that needs to become leaner, more focused, and more efficient to survive and hopefully thrive. The fact that they're talking so openly about needing to enhance cash resources and reduce capital requirements suggests they might be facing financial headwinds. The 32% workforce reduction is a stark indicator of how serious they feel the situation is. Companies don't typically make such drastic cuts unless they believe it is essential for their long-term viability. The focus on achieving cash-positive operations is the ultimate goal for any growing business, but it implies they are not there yet, and that the path to getting there requires these difficult measures. What we don't see in this particular filing are detailed financial tables showing revenue, profit, or balance sheets. This filing is primarily about the costs associated with exit or disposal activities, meaning the expenses and the reasoning behind their restructuring. To get a full picture of their financial health, we'd need to look at their regular financial statements, likely in a separate 10Q or 10K filing. However, the strategic decisions laid out here strongly hint at underlying financial pressures. The risks mentioned in the forward-looking statements, competition, customer demand, and the need for financing are standard but important. For Origin Materials, any stumble in executing these new plans or any unexpected market shifts could make their situation even more precarious. They are betting that these cuts will put them on a more sustainable path, but it is a high-stakes gamble. In conclusion, Origin Materials is undergoing a significant restructuring in early 2026. They are cutting costs, reducing staff by a substantial portion, and refocusing their development efforts to improve their cash flow and financial position. While the specific financial numbers aren't detailed here, the actions themselves signal a strong need for efficiency and a push towards profitability. The key question will be whether these aggressive cost-cutting measures are enough to turn things around, and if they can successfully launch their pet caps as planned without additional setbacks. Alright, that is our breakdown of Origin Materials restructuring news. What is your take on these drastic changes? Do you think they're making the right moves for the long term? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this analysis helpful, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more insights into the corporate world. And don't forget to join our Discord community in the description to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.